Hi, this is David with EV World News. We talk about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. I'm in studio today with our editor and founder, Bill Moore. How's it going, Bill?
Going great, thank you. It's finally starting to get over this. We came up with a name for it. It's the 100-day cough.
The
So
100-day cough. I think I may
100-day
have
cough,
had
it
that
just
last
does
year.
not go away.
Well, I wanted to get some things started, and this is something I was trying to show you the other day. We had Alex Lawrence from EV Auto on here a while back,
Hmm.
and he bought this really interesting. Well, he bought a CyberTruck, okay, and he had it
Okay.
wrapped. And so
Okay.
we're about there's Alex, so that's in his showroom.
Right.
And
That's
so
out
I'm
in
going to
Salt Lake.
play right out in Salt Lake City, and not really concerned about him talking. But this is their Cybertruck. They're calling it the Cybertron.
Ah, look at that. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
this is the wrap they had done, and they have these extra running lights around it, purple brakes. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
What's interesting is he also has a Tesla Model S Plaid that he took
It's
a
done up
huge
in plaid.
depreciation hit, and the Plaid has um he put really nice graphics on it. It has a picture of Elon Musk on one side,
Oh, my.
and it's really awesome looking thing. But he took this huge depreciation hit for that. But I thought that was
What the
something
one
pretty cool.
for the Cybertruck, for wrapping it, or for wrapping the
Both of
plaid?
them were pretty good, but I wasn't going to show the Plaid,
Right.
but it was just interesting because the Plaid dropped in price
Yeah.
last year by 30 or $40,000.
Yeah.
And so, some of the stuff was prices had gotten inflated a lot due to, things that had happened with COVID and supply chains. And now used car prices are tanking. I was talking about something yesterday so Stellantis really has a lot of cars piling up, but you have a lot of like big trucks piling up. Well, one of the
Hmm.
things that changed. So, are you familiar with the Section 179 IRS deduction?
Uh,
So, what it is it allows you to take um, an asset and depreciate it fully in the first year. You can do
okay.
this on computers and a few things, but you could also do it on vehicles that weigh over 6,000 pounds.
Okay.
And the number one thing is this is why a lot of times you see your general contractors all driving around in new pickup trucks. Every year they'll get another one and then they'll pass the last year's one on to a member of their crew, right?
Right.
Well, the way it works is you could, up until the end of 22, you could write off 100% of that truck in the year you purchased it. Didn't matter if you financed it or whatever. Okay. And then in the following years, you could deduct mileage.
Uh,
Well, for last year, that number dropped from 100% to 80%. For this year, I believe it drops to 60%. Now, there's two main classes of vehicles. It's luxury vehicles and
right.
trucks that
Right.
are really heavily affected by
Yeah.
this.
I knew that provision, in regards to people buying big expensive Cadillacs and
But
Mercedes, things like that.
other than myself, I haven't heard anybody else talking about the EV space. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this is affecting the EV space for sure. And what kind of made me think about it is one of my friends took the deduction. He bought a Model X, and at the end of December, so he could get it. And we were talking. He said, "Oh, I was only able to get the 80% deduction because of the change in the laws."
Mm,
And so, anyways, that's something that's been around for a while, and there's been different flavors of it over the years.
yeah.
So,
Well, I think
it,
it was something that was back introduced when we had the car industry sort of go through that crash around 2008 and so on. Didn't it get introduced then, or was it? It may
I
even be older than that.
I think it started in '05 or '06 originally, but it's
Yeah.
gone through several iterations.
Yeah.
It's not the same as it was back then, and the rules keep changing. At one point, for example, my Ford Expedition used to qualify.
Mm,
Okay, but I don't think the Ford Explorer did,
yeah.
as an example. So that was also one of the reasons why you see so many large SUVs. And that may actually, we have this discussion sometimes about how, SUVs may be the problem. We need to get smaller vehicles. Well, I think as the change in the Section 179 deduction shifts, I think you may start seeing smaller SUVs because people won't be taking that deduction
Won't
anymore.
be getting that deduction. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an interesting change. I
Yeah.
had another.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna share something. I saw some interesting news. It just came out yesterday about the Nissan Leaf. So
Okay.
the Nissan.
Before we get to that, then let me stay still on the truck thing. There is a dealer who was able to take and get a hold of a CyberTruck. He flipped it for 200, I think it was 250 or $270,000. And
Oh
now
God.
the guy that bought that now is looking to possibly flip it another time. So, the gentleman there with that black wrapped thing, he can make some serious money. Here we go.
Yeah.
Rivian.
So
Give us.
Rivian. Yeah. So Rivian's doing a live stream today. They're announcing the new R2.
Wow.
I don't know if it's
I'm
just
so
going to be the
excited to have all of
SUV or
you
if it's going to
here.
be the SUV and the truck.
This is a
I don't
moment
either.
that's been building
What I've
for
seen
so
is
long
the
for us,
SUV.
and to have so many friends,
The
family
sort of
support,
sneak images.
family
It's
support
an
that are
SUV.
here.
So,
It's like moving. I can
But
feel it in my
anyways, I
soul right
can
now.
leave
So
this playing.
thank you guys.
But while
We've got a
this
lot
is
to talk
talking,
about.
I'm going to talk over it.
I
So
started Rivian, and really at the
let me see if
core
I
of
can
it,
cut the audio
every
on
decision we
this.
make, the products, the strategy,
Oh, I've got to
what
play
we're
the audio
building, how we go
apparently.
about building our
But
business,
the deal that was
the
with
way
the
we structure our
Nissan Leaf that
teams,
just came out
the way we think
yesterday,
about
the
our
news,
culture
is it's now
has been built
eligible
around
for a
this idea of keeping the world
$3,750
adventurous
tax
forever.
credit. What's
And
interesting is the
so much of
Nissan
that
Leaf is made in the United States
ties
because
into
it's
this
made in
world
Smyrna,
forever, right?
Tennessee,
To this
which is
word
outside of
forever.
Nashville.
And forever
And
is an intimidating word. It's a word that
anyways,
means
it's just kind of
so many things. It's
surprising
hard to even
because I
capture what that
think it's
represents.
still
And when we look
probably
at that word, when
eligible
we think about
for
what we're building, what we're creating,
the
it extends beyond us. It
the
extends beyond
$7,500.
what we're doing today, what we're doing this month.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
By
and
the way,
I've neglected the chat. I've neglected the chat. We've had some chats, and when you say it looks really cool, I'm sure he was talking about the Cybertron.
Yeah. By the way, the Nissan has canceled production of the Leaf in the UK.
I saw that.
Yeah.
They were making them there.
Yes, they were. Yeah, they were making them. Yeah, they were making them in
Yeah.
the UK. Their plant up in the Northeast, up near Newcastle in that area. So, yeah, they've just announced last week that they are no longer producing it.
Yeah, the Leaf that is eligible for the 3,750 tax credit, they start out at just over 28,000, which you generally don't
So
find stuff.
we're talking less than $25,000.
Yeah, so that's a pretty decent price, I think. It's not as cheap as the Chevy Bolt should be when it comes back out again, because we were talking about getting that down to 18,500 because it's eligible for the $7,500 credit.
Right.
But
Now that'll be
anyways,
a while off before we see that. So
I also thought you might be pleased to know that the Fiat 500e is coming back to North America.
yes.
So since you're a
I have
Fiat
one,
driver,
and I
mhm.
absolutely adore the car. I do wish, if I could someday afford to trade up to another EV, I'd think very seriously about getting the E again, because it's such a wonderful little car, and it has about twice the range that my car has. So I might be able to actually drive to Lincoln and back without having to charge.
Oh, okay. What what is it? The 500e has a 149 range on the
Right, yeah,
smaller package.
149, and my EPA on mine is 84. So
Okay. I was going to say the new Leaf is about 150 as well
yeah, they're
on the base
comparable.
model.
Yeah.
Oh, what do we got? We got something here on the video. Oh, we're just towing with our R1T
We're
here,
towing
towing
with the R1, yeah, T.
towing a Rivian van. Yeah. Anyways, we'll just keep going on while we wait to see what we get here on the stream. Let's see here. So let's talk a little bit about Polestar.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
So Polestar CEO says rivals are falling into a trap by delaying EV plans.
Mm-hmm.
And in this particular case, I think, I don't know if they're trying to criticize Toyota or who they're trying to criticize. They're not real specific.
Well,
And
my guess is he's talking about all the guys that have said we're going to, Mercedes said they're going to delay. Of course, Toyota says we just as soon pay the penalties and buy emissions credits
from Tesla.
then put that money into EVs. So it's a Ford, of course, delaying and pretty much everybody's sort of sitting back and deciding, well, people aren't buying them, and so look at there's a Rivian pulling a semi
Yes.
the road, which is awesome. So
Yeah. That is one unique thing about electric trucks. I remember seeing a video of the Ford F-150 pulling a train,
yeah,
or the F-150 Lightning, that is, because the electric engines have so much torque. They have so much pulling capability that gas cars don't have the same capability. Oh yeah, so Ingenlath told the Telegraph that automakers like Mercedes, Ford, Aston Martin, and GM are delaying EV plans. They're falling into a trap. The thing is, with the things that BYD and some of the other companies are doing, I don't know how some of these companies are going to keep up. Because what's going to happen is it's going to come as a massive, a massive shift in the auto market. But
so the the what is it, the electric Viking, or the gentleman,
right,
the guy down in Australia, right?
Sam.
He does some really good reviews and stuff, and so he just had a review where he was talking that I think he said four of the Chinese, there's like half a dozen Chinese car makers, EV makers, that get publicity, NEO and BYD and SAIC and Geely and so on. But there's like, what did they say, like 20 of them, something like that? I don't know. Anyway, it's a fairly large, surprisingly large number. Four of those have already gone bankrupt this year, and apparently another one, he says, is about ready to declare bankruptcy. I mean, this is a hard business, and of course the question becomes, what impact is that going to have on U.S. car makers? Because it's hard to keep up with these guys because of the difficulties in the Chinese economy. Those car makers are having to look elsewhere,
right,
for business. And of course, what BYD has just done is they've taken delivery of their first roll-on, roll-off ship, and apparently got 7 more on order to get their cars that are stacked, piling up, because they're not selling in China right now. This, to sell them elsewhere in the world, the South Americas and Europe particularly, and at some point.
Oh, I'm losing Bill. Oh, looks like I lost Bill. So I'm going to go back to
New York, from San Francisco to LA. Or if you don't have a garage, you need a way to charge your vehicles. So we're also building a high-speed charging network. We call it a Rivian Adventure Network. It's rapidly being built out. Within a few years, we'll have 600 of these charging locations, and it'll be an open network. So it'll be Rivian vehicles as well as non-Rivian vehicles. And beyond that, we, of course, integrate across the other third-party platforms. And importantly, in fact, this month,
I'm less interested in listening to him talk, but he says Rivian's going to put out 600 of their own superchargers.
Yeah. By the way, my laptop, or the application on here, the StreamYard crashed. So That's why I
mine kind of was. It is carrying a lot because we have several people in the app, and then we also are streaming. So we're putting some pressures on the system. I guess we're testing it out.
Yeah. Well, I'm killing some of the applications I had running on mine here just to free up some space on the processor.
So my big topic today was EVs were 20% of new car sales worldwide last year. Now, people are always telling us how EV sales are dying and all that. And we'd already previously talked about how from January of last year to January of this year, they'd gone up 69% worldwide. But last year, 1 out of every 5 new cars sold last year in the world was an EV. And that is the case also in California. That's about the rate in California. That's the rest of the world. Here in Nebraska, it was maybe 1 in 100. It's a very big difference. And, probably New York City, it probably was maybe one. Is the Rivian, they look very much like a Range Rover, right?
There we go. There we go.
I mean, they have that Range Rover looking front. There it is.
Yep.
Oh, there's a driver, and he has no hair. Or is he an AI driver? Oh, no, he's real.
Yeah, he's real.
Yeah,
now, what's
pretty
of course
cool.
the deal? Supposedly, most of the Rivians are $70,000-$80,000. This is supposed to be under 50. Start up of about 48,000.
Design. Jeff and the team have done just an incredible job of being the driving force behind our products. We've been working together since well before the R1, so it is so amazing, Jeff, to see this, and to you and the team, amazing work.
Thank you.
Oh, that's nice looking.
So it is so awesome to show this. I've been waiting for this for a while.
It looks a lot like a Range Rover Evoque.
The vehicle combines capability.
It's probably very similar size.
Storage, functionality in a way that we think just really fits right into
and I think that's a pretty good comparison of who they compete with.
The vehicle size.
Well, what's the Evoque go for?
Really has been optimized.
Probably about 60.
Enabling, as I said, and inspiring all.
Well, this would be about $10,000-$12,000 less.
We're going to walk through the vehicle, but just starting here at the front. In the front of the vehicle, we have a large front storage trunk. For those that are familiar with R1, of course, this should be.
They start at 50. The Evoque starts at 50. 49.9. But the Evoque's probably a little smaller than this.
Most used storage areas of our R1 vehicle.
And it does not have that.
All of our owners are using it. But it is just an awesome setup. And of course, this also serves to support a lot of the front safety in the vehicle in terms of the crash structure that you saw in those R1 videos. Now, if we go around the side of the vehicle, it's hard to see without sitting in it, but so much effort has gone into making sure the packaging, not just in the front row, but also in the second row, creates this really airy, really comfortable, really spacious experience. Something that really is world-class. There's nothing quite like it in this size of vehicle where you get in and you feel so comfortable and it feels so inviting. And we're going to take a look at the interior in a second. But first, just walk around the back. We did a lot of work to create something that builds a really open-air experience. And you just saw, or maybe you saw, these quarter windows pop out. And what that does is we leverage the negative pressure off the back of the vehicle to pull natural air through. And it creates this beautiful open-air feeling experience. And then the rear glass, which you just saw drop, also opens. And now the rear glass opening, it literally feels like an open-air experience. But this
gives it used to be with gas cars. If you had that open, that you'd have gas fumes coming into the car.
Yep. This is, of course, it's an EV. It doesn't have any.
Right. As you just saw, the second row seats fold flat, but also the first row seats fold flat. And the first row seats folding flat, that gives you, when if you're driving the vehicle, you can put long things in very easily. But if you're not driving the vehicle, let's say you're camping or staying overnight in the vehicle, it creates this awesome in-vehicle camping experience with an inflatable mattress.
Oh, wow.
So walking around here to the side, you're thinking to yourself, well, how does the vehicle size?
That's the solution to the homeless problem.
One trying to figure out how does this
Just get
compare
all the
to an
homeless
R1.
people one of these and they can
We'll
sleep
tell
on
you,
it.
it's about 400 millimeters shorter than an R1S. And in addition to being shorter, it's quite a bit or shorter in wheelbase. It's also lower in height. And it makes it fits into any garage. It fits into tight spaces, really maneuverable. But to look at it in a driving environment is really helpful. So we'll show you it here next to an R1S. It looks awesome. It looks really like, you know, just two family members out for a stroll. I love that.
Yeah, it's smaller. Yeah, yeah.
So let's take a look at the inside.
Well, the R1S is pretty big.
And there's
yeah.
I mean, it's not as big as a Yukon.
A lot of that ties to just what's in the what's in the
In my opinion, they're somewhere between the size of a Explorer and an Expedition.
And so we spent a lot of time working through those materials and the overall packaging to create an experience that is as inviting as one could imagine. And we have a lot of feedback from R1. And one of the points of feedback was a desire for a glove box. And we had lots of reasons to not have one.
There's two.
Two of them.
On R2, we over-delivered, and we put 2 glove boxes in. The other thing, I mean, there's lots to see here, but one of the things that's so exciting is the way we've looked at the controls. And we have these really nice large wheels and the scroll wheels and the steering wheel. There's dynamic haptic feedback, so it allows us to adjust what it's feeling like when you're scrolling, and it's magical. It takes our existing scroll wheel and really up levels it to a degree that's hard to fully appreciate unless you're sitting in the car. Now, jumping back out, a lot of work went into the doors. Move the speaker out of the door, gives us space for a large water bottle here, and of course, it wouldn't be a Rivian if we have a flashlight in the door. So.
But have they put an umbrella in the back door?
Super handy. So now, how does this set up in terms of how
my Rolls Royce has that in the back door?
An entirely new platform underpinning this vehicle.
Has the umbrella.
A lot of work went into driving.
Right along with the holder for your boulder cap, right?
And it's built around a 4695 cell. So it's a cylindrical cell, 46 millimeters in diameter, 95 millimeters tall. It's a much larger cell than the 21 millimeter diameter cell that we have in R1 today. And that cell's integrated into a highly structural battery pack. So the battery pack in the floor actually makes up a big part of the vehicle structure. The top of the battery pack is actually the floor of the vehicle. So a lot of these innovations that we're driving into how we build the vehicle are core to us making sure the price point.
I'm watching the stock ticker. It's not changing.
But at the,
no, it's up a couple cents from the start of the show today.
Single motor, rear-wheel driver variant. We have a dual motor, one motor in the front, one motor in the back.
Transparency here, you own 300
and then we have a tri-motor, 2 motors in the back, 1 in the front. And in the highest performance variants of the vehicle, 0 to 60 in well under 3 seconds. So it's very quick. And then all those motor combinations can achieve over 300 miles in range.
Nice. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. That's nice.
Yeah,
that's what everybody needs.
So much of what a Rivian is capturing the dynamics of the vehicle. And we needed to make sure that all the decisions we made in the aggregate, the suspension, the drivetrain, the battery positioning, the packaging of the vehicle, delivered something that drove like nothing else. Something that was exciting on-road, something that was incredibly capable off-road, but had the everyday refinement and usability to work if you're parking it in San Francisco or driving it in New York. And so that focus on dynamics is so embedded in our culture as an organization and embedded, of course, into our products. Now, we talked about the vertically integrated electronics we built that enable this amazing software platform that we've seen in R1. We take that even further in R2. We talked about how the packaging and the design of the structure allows us to achieve really amazing, amazing manufacturability. But we've also focused a lot on sensors and the compute in our vehicle. And this has 11 cameras, 5 radars, 4 radars in the corner, 1 long-range radar in the front, which we couple with our new, much higher compute platform, which will enable this to have a very high level of self-driving. And for us, that represents being able to get on the highway, take your hands off the wheel, eyes off the road, and truly operate it where you get your time back. And that's, to our self-driving team, we're really excited about what this vehicle represents for us.
That's an interesting phrase, get your time back.
I do want to talk just a bit about how we laid out the manufacturing system here. And
all right, I'm going to cut the audio on this.
But every single decision.
I'll leave it playing. We can go back so we can get back to some of our
other topics. Yeah,
some of our other topics. So you wanted to talk about something going on with the Apple Titan.
Yeah, well, there's good timing here because Rivian rolls out the R2 and Apple kills the Titan. Now, for people who might not be familiar, that was the code name for a decade-long project to create an Apple electric something. Now, I use that term something because we never quite knew what it was, and that's probably part of the reason why the project never really went anywhere, despite the company spending $1 billion a year to engineer this thing. So the issue was that this was started by Steve Jobs, right? And then of course Tim Cook kept it going and things. But nobody, it seems, even within Apple, was exactly sure what it is they were supposed to be building. Now, the assumption is that what they were going to do was do the same kind of technological leapfrog that they'd done with the Macintosh and the iPod and the smartphones and the things that just took them to $1 trillion company, right?
Right.
So the question was what was this secret project? And from what I know, the original concept was to build some kind of a van inspired, for want of a better term, by the Volkswagen, minivan, or not, the bus, the Volkswagen bus. And of course, the idea was, the assumption was that Apple was going to take all of that programming know-how that they had. In fact, they even bought a track to do the testing on, that they were going to come up with a really state-of-the-art self-driving vehicle. But as you followed this project, it was on, it was off, it was on. They brought in, some guys, some seniors and engineers to work on it, and then they fired them, and they brought in others. So all along, the project apparently just seemed to lack any kind of a cohesive end game. And and of course, I think Elon Musk probably made one of the more astute observations. He said, whereas Tesla, if you're doing self-driving, whereas Tesla has been collecting literally billions of miles of driving, data from all those cars that they've had on, where are they at? At least a million cars they've built, maybe more, more than that. So all these cars are out there. They're all collecting this data.
They've done over 3 million.
Yeah, 3 million. Okay. So all those cars are collecting data and sharing that, maybe unbeknownst or, tacit approval of the owners, collecting all that data. Whereas Apple had a few experimental vehicles running around on a closed loop, track, couldn't begin to collect anywhere near the data that they needed to build a safe autonomous driving system. So that was another, if you will, score against it. So I'm a huge Apple fan. I mean, I own my very first, well, it wasn't my first computer was a Commodore, but after that, my first practical computer was the Apple. That came out, the little square, thing.
Right.
And
I had an Apple II Plus.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go. So you were talking on my Apple. Right behind it is my my MacBook. And a lot of my research is done on an iPad. So I'm a confirmed Apple person. But I could never figure out, why would you want Apple, with all of the companies out there, with all the history and things? Why would you want to build an electric car?
Well, it's kind of interesting.
I never understand it, and so
there was an opinion piece in Fortune
on Project Ike.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Well, so there was an opinion piece in Fortune where they're thinking that Apple should go out now that Rivian's not worth as much. And mind you, since that show went on, we've gone from $11.42 to $11.97, and it keeps going. It's still going up. Oh, so it may break $12. It may break $12 today.
You're making
you're
me
welcome.
a few more bucks as I sit here.
No, I know. This is great. Anyways, but the theory is Apple should grab Rivian. The question is, will the right? And it's an interesting theory. I mean, they certainly could. I don't think they want to. I don't know if it's the best move for them. I mean, Amazon already owns 1/6 of the company.
Yeah, well, what do you, what value are they going to bring, right?
I don't know.
I mean, he already said, we got all this radar and we got all that autonomous driving. I mean, what value is Apple, going to add, other than maybe through their Foxconn, because Apple does the engineering and Foxconn does the building. So, Foxconn had a facility where it's up in Wisconsin or somewhere like that. Do you bring them in and have them, contribute? So I don't know. I don't know what Apple would contribute to that, other than, a lot of programming expertise and contracted manufacturing. So I'm not.
No, I don't know if they really bring much other. So who knows? It was an interesting thought. I mean, there's talks that maybe Nissan might buy Fisker. There's some discussions going on.
Yeah, Fisker could use the help right now. They're in some serious problems. And interestingly enough, the folks that bought the original Karma has now rolled out, just this week, has now rolled out their new Karma. And I can't pronounce the name, Quiz or whatever it is, something like that. But they've rolled out a new pure electric car. But then again, as Elon says, it's easy to build a prototype. It's really hard to manufacture them. So,
that's an interesting point, because I've always wondered, when you see, hey, we made one, can we make another? Yeah. Well, but anyways, Bill, we're out of time today, so we spent a fair amount of time on the Rivian release, but that was kind of cool. We hadn't done that before, so
I liked it. I liked it because I wanted to see what would happen, and if it's driving the stock up, I'm good with that.
Yeah, let's see where we end up here on the show. Oh, we're at 12:02, 12:03. Right. It's still going up, man. You're making some big bucks there here.
I'm well, yeah. With 300
the podcast
shares,
is paying off. Right? No, I know. Well, you made.
Well, hey. Now I'm waiting for Canoe to do that. Because I just bought 500 shares of Canoe at 8 cents.
Oh, I better play the disclaimer.
Right. Play the disclaimer. So
yes.
I've covered EV World for 26 years and never bought a stock. Should have bought Tesla when I had the opportunity, but nope. Because I wanted to maintain journalistic integrity. Well, I'm sold out.
The fact that we have professional stock pickers with Pro Trader Mike on Mondays and Adib on Fridays gives a lot of pressure to kind of see what's going on.
I now officially have skin in the game.
There you go.
It's only $300. But
right. No, I'm with you. Anyways, but everybody, thanks for watching today, and please comment and like the video, share it if you found it interesting. And anyways, well, I'll be back with Deeb hopefully tomorrow, and otherwise, everybody have a great day.